I don't know if there's a swimming reference.
It could have been, because the oceans are very deep and
Currents are strong.
oh. But before we go too far, let's head into our inspirational segment. Don't forget packaging.
And now, the inspirational segment by Robert Amara.
We worry about and try to improve our performance, excuse me, all the time. But improving our performance doesn't do us much good if other people fail to realize what we are capable of. There's a good reason why cereal companies spend more money on advertising than on any other component of their business. Lots of companies make good cereal, but ultimately they and then helps place them. The next step teaches life skills, job skills, and job acquisition skills. We counsel people on dressing and hygiene and tell them the first impression that you make might be the only chance you get with an employer. It's a delicate issue, but to do justice for the person, we have to touch on it. It was ironic for James when he realized that while he spent time trying to get people to match their skills to a pleasant presentation, he didn't spend much time at all on the presentation. The next step. We worried about doing a good job, which is what we are supposed to do, of course, but we didn't worry about looking like we were doing a good job, which is what brings in more grant money and would actually allow us to help more people. Now James spends more time compiling statistics on the people they have helped and producing reports on the work they do. It's just like I can tell the people I counsel. It's not enough to be right for the job. You've got to look right for the jobs. What makes a small business work? Experience, location, and size of staff are important. But no other aspect of the running of small business is as predictive of their successes as the level of resources they dedicate to marketing. Oldenburg and Klein, 1999. Look out on Monday when our inspirational segment will be dealing with lead or learn to lead yourself. That was our segment for today.
That was your inspirational segment with Robert
What we have?
Amara on Sense
What we
and
have?
Sensibility.
Well, the sort of thing that they a bunch of ad-libs to read and Bossa Soup Trinity I was going to play after the tip. And later on, Youth, Wild Meat, KFC, Wax and Lara.
And which is the ad-lib?
Omega XL,
You go that one.
Lara on the Avenue.
We'll have to do that one. What about the crime tip?
Yeah, right, that is.
Paula,
Sure, you will.
trying to keep smiling. What to tell you? Keeping attention.
With all your resources, you can find out the coffee there, but they're selling all kind of shippiness on the internet.
Wait a bit now. When we had to put out a picture, we will. The man said give him till December.
It's very bad though.
You do not like my shirt, and that's because of last week and your flowery shirt, and I realize that. But I'm proud of this shirt. Plaid is not back yet.
Oh, yes, it is.
That is not a nice shirt. And I too, when it's a nice shirt, you know, I will tell you.
This is a Kenneth Cole, not his
Don't matter
cousin
the
William
brand, if it
Cole.
don't look good, it don't look good. The brand don't matter.
I like it.
Plaid
Matches.
is actually very bad because Ralph Lauren, Bergdorf Goodman has all
If
the
it was a
beautiful
long sleeve
plaids.
meat, anyway.
Well, this one,
And
this
that
shirt, no, I
beauty tip
like
was being
it.
brought to you courtesy of Big Mike's Wellness Center at number 19 Market Street in Aruca. Also, don't forget, Lara on the Avenue brings to you John Melody in concert on Saturday, 25th November. That's this Saturday. All right, with your favorite DJ Marla and Mr. Music, Ashley's Palace, formerly Step Down in Aruca. What? Wrong.
Let's do this. Those are tax.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I want them. You see the size of the tax?
The what?
Look on the poster.
Oh, yes.
Get those from me. Stick a pen in it, oh God. Stick a pen in it.
That is going to be great. A huge one with PP logo on it.
Kevin, what is going on?
With what?
You.
Why?
You're looking stressed. You're not looking your usual happy self.
You didn't get a poinsettia? Nobody gave you a poinsettia? That cheers you up. No? Have to get you a poinsettia.
Kevin, have you look at a guy who just got a text message, honey, it's late.
It's going to feed me? No. It's
A
going,
fruitcake, man.
it will entertain me in any way.
A fruitcake? But it will filter your air.
I live in Trinidad, I'm fine. What don't kill it makes you strong. I'm strong, you know.
For real, right? And what okay, they make it strong. Like it left up the world. What a, you all, this hour is going to become 10 minutes of talk, 90 minutes, 50 minutes of ads. You all have
It's
so
that time
much
of year, it's Christmas time.
It's
The majority of
that
ads are Christmas
time of year
That shows popularity, and that's good.
when the world falls in love.
Years ago when I was covering for Louis out at 95,
Every song.
you know, I would talk like once, and the hours mostly ads. Ads, one after the other.
Listen,
I couldn't believe that. There was so many. Yeah.
we are going to have a concert for PEP people called non-celebrities who sing. And we'll be giving out free earplugs on entry.
Let us sell them the earplugs.
Yeah.
Let them in free and sell them the earplugs.
Alright,
Yeah.
there we go, there we go. Alrighty, with that we get inside of the talk, Sense and Sensibility.
And let me just say good morning to your listeners. Good morning, Robert. Good morning, Kevin. And I'd like to introduce my charming colleague, Suzette Lauer.
Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Good morning, PEP family. Thank you for tuning in.
Philip, you know, this morning I dealt with a subject matter here that I think
China.
should resonate with you. Don't forget packaging.
Don't forget packaging. Kevin,
At the end of the day, there are some issues that we have to deal with in the society, and one of it, of course, is perceptions. So, we have been looking at the situation in the Trinidad and Tobago model, which, for all intent and purpose, I think is agreed, requires a modification. I think the people have expressed such a feeling. Whether the numbers are sufficient to cause the kind of avalanche that is necessary
it will.
is yet undetermined.
It's happening.
Okay?
It's happening. You're seeing it happening.
At the end, you know, I like that, I like that positive kind of vibe. You always
Positivity.
exude, but
What they say, fake it until you can make it.
I agree. Well, that is what
Have
is...
you ever read the story of the 300 Spartans that held off the 10,000 man? No, it was
We saw
300,000
the army. We saw the army.
Persians,
We
the
saw
Persians.
we saw
And
the-
if it wasn't for an ugly man and a woman, well, they still would have lose. But anyway,
The end result is, why they're saying that,
when he was told, my arrows will blot out the sun, the leader of the Spartans said, then we will fight in the shade.
for Maruga, I don't have your name in front of me, but I read another 2 pages of the book this morning, and I feel like in eventual, not too long from now, I will have this solution for Trinidad and Tobago.
I wanna say something. The polarization you're talking about, the political polarization you're talking about, does not reflect anywhere else in society. I have known you for over 2 decades. I have seen you, and I'm just using you as an example, and the people
I have to change
they
it.
will
I have to
remember
change
your
the
people.
flags.
You see this fellas at Mugabe?
And
You
you
want to
see-
change.
No, but it's wrong.
Nah, joke and fun aside, but I want to tell you this.
Discipline, production, and tolerance. You can't be disciplined if you're not tolerant.
You should have excellence in there too.
Yes.
But I want to just say this, and then I will leave it all for you. And that is, on the ground, Pilau and double is not racist. They're not ethnic, they're not tribal.
So why they kill the double one?
That's our next conversation.
Okay, right.
Stick a pin there. But on the ground,
And who killed him?
On the ground, Robert.
From what ethnic
On the
background?
ground, no, you can't have that conversation yet because
see,
on the
again,
ground,
you
you cannot have that conversation because I want to ask you a question.
You're running away as usual.
I'm not. I'm pinning you down this morning. Crime. The crime.
What is the crime? Pasha?
No. I will have to disagree there because, I am agreeing with Robert this morning on that. And the reason for that is...
You realize most of the time when she speaks, she agrees with me.
Robert,
It's not I'm trying to put a spoke in a wheel,
I
you know.
told you she drinks a lot.
But I'm... and you're-
child. Why must that child now become
see-
why must that child now become an issue for society to have to deal with? You are supposed to be responsible.
That
Now I
is a
understand.
very ticklish conversation.
It's not a ticklish.
I'll tell you why. I know a man.
in the heat of the
Who
night,
born, he
the
was
only thing you know to do because you're poor is to screw.
rich or poor, everybody's screwing.
No,
That's
but
not the point.
but the poorer.
So you saying that you have to be able to afford to have sex?
you have to be able to afford to have sex.
To come there and have children?
That's okay. So why are you catching it to get visas to go to Canada?
I don't know that that is the truth.
Right.
I don't know that
Alright,
that is the
okay,
truth.
okay.
Because I think that we've put a spoke in the wheel. I know that it was very easy to get.
So Trinis like to breed plenty, but we don't want to take them to Canada, and you need more
It
people there.
used to be very easy for Trinidadians to get to Canada. I don't know what happened during the 80s
But the
under
thing that
Robbie
the
that
mechanism-
stopped it. Something happened. They
The
put a spoke in the wheel.
mechanism
The
that
whole
we
of
saw-
Trinidad and Tobago. When I became a father, my life,
You could afford it.
just now,
You could afford it.
I didn't put a value on
I
it.
didn't accept that.
But my life.
when you found out that the woman who you had your niceties with come and tell you,
You come
Philip,
so
Philip
close.
baby, Philip
You come
baby.
so close. I want to say this.
When she arrived and she said, Philip
You
baby,
know this is true. You know
I
this
am
is true.
preggy. What did you do that night?
Kevin,
Jump
this-
up on the table?
Kevin's face all morning. Kevin is not falling in the garden. Anyway, you ain't got no text this morning saying Kevin.
We need to talk.
There is no time a woman sends a man a message that says we need to talk that a man thinks we need to talk. Because from the time you see that message. No, but I'm telling you, on every father, well, most
No,
fathers,
what they mean is when they say that we need to talk, they really mean that I need to talk to you and you have to listen.
But all we hear is, damn, I don't want to hear anything she has to say. But every sane and civilized man,
No,
because
but you have to stop. You see,
Parents
this conversation can't go in snippets. It have to go in dualities. Because in the process of that, you are not in a position to
I
afford,
want to flip.
and you are now proud to become
I
the
agree with
father.
you a little bit, you know.
But you decide to go and breed the woman again.
I want to flip a script for
You can't mind the first child.
I want to flip the script for you, right? The economy of a country and social management
It's
are
about how much children you can make.
no, but they're entwined together. And the
Ah,
government
yeah,
and the
yeah.
state has a responsibility to make sure that none of the people fall below the poverty
So that's
line.
why China do what they do.
China did what they did. I don't know why China did what they
They
did.
had a
Oh.
one-child policy
Correct.
for the purpose of curbing overpopulation.
Obviously.
Because it was becoming a strain on the resources for China.
Obviously.
And China
But China has
is
just
almost-
spread their wings.
Yeah,
Yes.
but that's because they put a quell.
Yeah.
They say 1 in every 2 people is a Chinese person now. So if 3 of us in this room, 1 of us is.
I am a Chinese.
China is almost self-sufficient. And the reason that they're able to become that way is because they did have a population control strategy.
Obviously.
All the people who listening to the show today must be thinking we were drinking before the show started.
Yeah, water.
This is the Christmas edition. No, Robert, I want to bring you back to this. Let's come back here. Let's come back here. Because we got far. When we come back here, we will stick up in there. And we have to keep drilling down to this point because you keep bringing up the issue of the polarized nation.
It is a fact.
It is not polarizing the party, not polarizing the gym.
Forget
It's
about
not
that.
polarized
Those
on the
things
road.
make
It's
no
not
difference.
polarized by the doubles box.
Philip.
It's not polarized on the savannah.
I agree.
It's not polarizing.
I agree. I agree with
Let
all
me
of
tell you
those.
where it
I
polarized.
agree.
Let me tell you where it polarized.
It
It polarized
polarized
in the
where-
jail. It polarized at the poverty line. It polarized where people doing drugs and homeless.
Okay.
So I'm saying to you,
Take up then. And who's responsible for removing that polarization?
and that comes down to leadership.
But it's still
It's a
comes
function
back.
of leadership.
It still
you
comes
cannot
down.
blame somebody who does not understand for their lack of understanding.
Okay, good.
People look at society.
Okay.
Susan,
Who
do you agree
put-
with that statement?
You know, I will say that if I were to be out in public, and this is my personal experience, I have had interaction with people of every single creed and race, and I have not felt racism in
Tribalism, ethnicityism.
Neither have I.
in society. What I can say is because of the selfish and evil agendas of people involved in politics that this has become a problem in
It's not
Trinidad and
even
Tobago
that.
today.
It's not even that. It's a lack of any real ideology or philosophy. So they appeal to the lowest common denominator. Kamala say, and this is what the UNC message is, vote for who look like you. The PNM message is the same. Vote for who look like you.
Yes, but this is where
all I'm saying to you is this. Trinidad has been led astray not because Trinidadians are racist. Trinidadians have been led astray because we know the country has money and that the society has been set up in such a way to keep the masses poor. And who get handout? You know what? You know what it's similar to? At the end of slavery, there was this term that came up called a house Negro. And a house Negro got to sleep inside the house. And sleeping inside the house meant you got warmth and you got access to better food and better circumstances, and everybody wanted to be a house Negro.
Don't leave out access to also
Massa wife.
having massa wife. Don't leave out that. But we're taking a break.
Red man party. That's why I read.
11:32 is the time which comes to you courtesy of Prasad's Supermarket.
No, but I will say though
The correct
that race
pronunciation
really
is Prasad.
What he said?
Prasad.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Serious?
Yeah.
Pronounce Gulab Jamun.
Ethnicized.
that no really.
I try to find a word for him.
And he wants to correct your pronunciation.
You understand? That was the worst. You see
This is
the,
topless.
yeah.
Can you say it properly? Ethnicized.
the grammar police is the ones that make the most mistakes.
Just instead of saying creed and race, maybe we could use the word national.
National, I mean,
Every
you know.
national finds an equal
ancestral origin.
place.
That's
No, that can't right.
Ancestral
Where
origin.
every
Every creed and ancestral origin.
No. National. The word to replace it is
Fine.
national.
It is race.
No.
It is race.
Where every creed.
Are
where
you saying that you know more than Kastani?
I know more than
Pat
Kastani.
Kastani.
You
Pat
Get Pat on the phone.
Yeah, call her in heaven there.
Get Pat on the phone. Actually, one of my friends on Facebook is Kastani's family.
That is the word to
Let
change it to
Kasani
national.
and it.
What? National?
Yeah. Where every national finds an equal place. Leave out creed and
No,
race.
but if you start to interfere with it, because
Don't
then-
tell me what's that interference
No,
when we
because
get rid
other
of the
people-
blasted order.
other
and
people
we bring in the order, the merit of Trinidad and Tobago to replace
Exactly.
the Trinity Cross.
Everybody will now jump in and say every creed, race, religion, diversity, sexual orientation.
No, but you know, I'll tell you this, huh? If you, as a black person, if you go to Africa, you are not going to be welcomed as an African. They don't see the black people from Trinidad and Tobago as Africans out of Africa. If you go to India, it's the same thing, and I can personally attest to that because I was looked at as a traitor by someone who is from India because I didn't speak Hindi. And I want to say this: Trinidadians, Trinidad and Tobago is where you have come from. And what you need to do is recognize that you are Trinbagonian. You're not African, Indian, Chinese. You're Trinbagonian.
But that is
Forget
what he
about
was
race.
trying to say when he said, here every creed and race find an equal.
No, he was wrong.
At the time,
Where at the time he might have been right.
you remember when Pandey, when Chuck
Where's a
Rising-
creed? Where's a creed? Where's a creed?
A creed is a word for religion. It's a word for religion.
I'm sure that question Robert just asked, a lot of people in Trinidad and Tobago never thought about it or
When-
didn't even know the meaning of that.
When Basdeo
So
Pandey
let me
won the first
drop-
election,
Yeah.
and Jones P.
Bring up-
Madero,
Bring up Manning, not Manning, Rowley.
and Jones P. Madero wrote an article with a headline, Chutney Rising. Remember that?
Vaguely.
Caused all the bacchanal. Sabga had to fire the whole Guardian editorial
Well, he
staff.
fired a lot of people on
Alwyn Chow.
95.1 now.
No, they have no money now. But then Alwyn Chow and them went and formed the Independent that Clico sponsor. You remember all that drama?
I kinda.
That's the history of Trinidad and Tobago. But when Pandey won, he had to put the army at Cocorit and by Grand Bazaar, because Ken Gordon say the corridor coming down. Ken Gordon say that.
The man,
And Lucky's.
the man who talk about
All of
what do you
these
call it,
people, listen,
what will you say?
Trinidad,
Pseudo-racist.
Trinidad has been suffering under fake leadership and political
But
prostitutes
the
for far too long.
The change cannot come
The
there.
change starts here.
The change,
The change starts with knowledge.
Aye.
Educate, inform, and empower. That's what the PP does every day.
I'm not disputing that. What you don't understand is that the tentacles that have a big wall that have to climb over before your message could reach.
Information. We live in the age of information.
You're
And the
always
average
talking this thing
person-
without understanding
the
that the
average
same poor
person
man in the ghetto.
have a
Some of
smartphone.
them have real smartphone, but not the majority.
I don't think so, because when you look at
Well,
the
again,
numbers,
that's
when
a
you look at the
perception.
numbers, it's not. Who you think keeping B-Mobile and Digicel in business? You and me? Goodwood Park and Valsyn?
No, sham for Kojo.
You come good, but Champa didn't pay that bill. You and I pay that bill. But come back to this. Courts, American stores, standards, fence. It's poor people money. It's poor people that buying those furniture every Christmas.
In Trinidad and Tobago, I don't know why we talk about race. You'd be hard pressed to find anybody belonging to pure race in Trinidad and Tobago. People look at me, you know, one comment I got on Facebook recently was I can take the UNC and go. And I wanted to respond to that and let people know that I come
Alright,
from
so let's
such.
get back inside a sense and sensibility. It is now 11:57. Give you this time check courtesy of Crime Stoppers. And I remind you about something. Yes. Stranded by the Pool, Thursday 8th of February 2018. All roads going to be leading to the Celebia Nature Resort and Spa overlooking the Atlantic Ocean. Thursday 8th of February 2018. It's the black and white edition. So get ready, organize your money for your tickets for Stranded by the Pool.
And yes, One Heart Chronics, One Heart Chronics, One Heart. Live for Love. Featuring the Young Legends Chronics and Zinc Fence Redemption. Live in Trinidad and Tobago tomorrow.
Facebook viewers, both Robert and Kevin have disparaged my Kenneth Cole shirt off air.
It's
And I
a
would-
terrible shirt.
And I would...
You see, he's getting confused with brand because it's
Yeah.
a nice
It's
brand.
a Kenneth Cole. Let me tell you why I'm proud as a Kenneth Cole. Once I thought I bought a Calvin Klein, and it was his cousin Garvin. I bought a Garvin Klein.
That's okay. If the Garvin was looking nice, the Garvin shirt was looking nicer than
You know, I think that you
They
and I
say-
need to launch a line called Rowley.
Of clothes.
Clothes, yeah.
You know, like how Walmart sells, and it's hugely successful, a line of ugly sweaters. Well, I think if you put Rowley as a brand,
I
people may
think
buy it
Stuart
for the
Young-
reason of just having it.
I think a brand of chapstick called Stuart Young would sell better. Chapstick.
Maybe glue. Maybe glue in a chopstick.
Anyhow, back to the topic, boss.
I want to just say, because we have to accept this is our truth.
Now, I want people to understand the reason why I made this statement is because I'm looking
When-
to make money. Eh?
You know what?
So if I sell a brand, I'm looking for revenue.
If you can't sell it,
I can plagiarize that brand any
If
day.
you bring in a brand as Rowley, it have to be something for Rottweilers to wear.
No. The polarized society will buy it.
Not at all.
Yeah.
They waiting to fire him, you know.
You could say what you want.
Brother, you forget Manning get pelted with rotten mango.
But that is after 8 years.
He lost the election.
Bottom line, after 8
Tell you
years.
something.
The man had 8 years.
You see,
the man had 8
Christopher
years.
Mugabe Sabga Rowley didn't even go on Memorial Day to put the wreath.
But that's okay. What happened?
That is the first time in our history a prime minister say, you know what?
Send me
Sharon, do it now.
I don't understand that. Delegation. The man has always
Delegation.
said to
I'm telling
you.
you this. He know he lost. I'm telling you, Keith Rowley will not be in Trinidad.
Hello.
He will not be in Trinidad for the concession speech.
Kevin, take a note of this, please.
I bet you now. Pick your scotch. I want a single malt. Hear me?
No.
He will not.
No. Don't go with that cheap kind of thing with me.
Single malt is not cheap.
No, that's a cheap thing.
Why you wanna
Louis
double?
XIII.
No.
Don't come at me with no kind of stupid business here.
Well, you have to give him wind there. Sorry to tell you
I
that.
could afford.
But they tell me I'm about 19.
I could afford Louis XII. The 13
But
will
on a serious note.
Rowley will not be here. They know he lost, you know.
Hello. You and the rest of the
He
people.
reading Riot Act. No, he reading Riot Act.
You and the
When-
rest of the people in Trinidad and Tobago don't understand this. Here's what is happening in this country. The PNM has already orchestrated 2020. The issues of all of the legal maneuvers that have been put in place is to create the nuances, to distract, to mislead, with a little bit of truth in between. Because there are some truths in there, but there may be a lot of untruths. But to find the untruths will take twice as long as understanding
but
the
I want to
truths.
tell you.
Wait. We have time. We have until 12 o'clock. Hold on.
Right, let's go.
Hold on.
Carry on.
The next thing that has happened.
But you see, move on, and I want you to answer that.
Yeah.
Because Trinidad's bovine excrement radar have increased. We're not taking destruction easy.
You're
It's
not
falling.
taking it.
No, I am watching what is going on in the public. Look in the papers. They're not taking the
Look in
destruction.
the papers.
When you're taking-
Gamblers get 2 billion.
All right.
So what's the problem?
That is not-
They are leading the country in a particular direction.
Because the Express put that as their headline, don't mean Trinidadians taking that from
I-
Express.
you can
Right
say
now,
what you want to
Guardian,
say.
Express, and Newsday underneath Birdcage. That's all people buying it for and wrapping carry it. People not interested
And
in Guardian.
you're not supposed to wrap carrot in newsprint. It's dangerous.
For
It could
carrot.
kill you. Fish on the whole.
Yeah.
But fish and chips in England is selling
No,
paper.
No, that's a
brown
different grade
paper.
of paper.
Brown paper, not in this kind of paper.
But it started off in newsprint.
No. What's wrong with you? But okay, let's suppose you're right. It's not right again.
People used to buy it and eat and read one time.
So the current newspaper is at the bottom of that food basket.
Kevin, Philip, that's the first level, right? That's the first thing. Second thing, that is what I call counterintuitive or counterintelligence. That's what I was looking for the other day. So what they have done is they've taken a counterintelligence position and put it inside of it, trying to move those same people who are supporters of the particular party in a point of saying, oh God, boy, the other side worse, we better keep what we have. The second thing is they've restricted the money. So while people are complaining, civil servants are getting money and this is where the polarization takes full effect. In the next year, it's going to have an ease, and you will hear the politicians of the particular controlled party come out and say, I told you to tighten your belt and I am proud of you that you did. That is why today we are in a better position.
All that foolishness failed Kamala.
Well, it might have failed her, but it wouldn't fail this particular.
It will fail him worse.
Hello.
Robert,
listen,
I have never seen
a bottle
people...
of water. Don't let me go with you
Single
with
malt
the 30.
scotch,
No, I
single
don't
malt
drink
scotch.
that. That is what you call piss
Hear
scotch.
what
Forget that. I don't drink
hear
it.
what's going on.
Give me rum instead.
There is
I
no,
like
there
Panday
is
in this
no
case.
amount of money. Who was the man that used to work for Panday? I can't remember his name. His job was to take the glass out Panday hand when the media was around.
I don't know. I can't remember.
It was a name like...
Forget
I
that.
would
no,
forget the
that's
name
not
of a person
important.
like that.
That was his job.
Forget that.
He was
no.
Panday's butler.
Forget that. No.
Anyway,
That can help us or help you win the election of the future.
there is nobody in the front line of the PNM
I agree with that.
that has any political attraction.
Or integrity.
But likewise on the next side.
And there you go.
Okay.
And I'm saying to you,
But society
there is
Trinidad,
Trinidadians will see past that go bar. They will see that game for what it is. Let me tell you something. People taking the jam in. You see all the nonsense. Colman tell people. Colman push his finger in people's face in the eye. He roughed this country up, you know. Colman make people cry. They're not going and forget.
They will
he
forget.
talk. No, he not. No, Robert,
They have forgotten already.
Robert, I worry for this country.
I listen, I stopped worrying for this.
No, but I
country.
worry now.
Let me tell you why I worry for.
I feel they're going to make a mistake. These people overplaying this hand. I feel they're going to make a mistake and then the whole country going to erupt. This government is mad.
You know, my mother said to me this morning, and my mother is a person who never gets, I mean, she's a good Catholic woman. She practically lives in the church. And she said to me this morning, she said, and I will never forget this question because it resonated so deeply with me. She said, do you think that the government of Trinidad and Tobago is really so incompetent? Or do you think this is a plan that they have to see the country collapse? And my question to her was, why would you think a thing like that? She said, because nobody will make that amount of mistakes without having a reason for making them.
Susan,
here
I want to say to you that your mother is maybe older than me. and therefore she has maybe a little bit more visionary,
Experience and knowledge.
right, than even Philip.
And that's how
And
gets.
the reality is that she's not far off from the mark.
And this.
And it's not about taking the country to a failure position. It's about taking the people.
Robert.
It's about taking the people who are polarized, who have always been led to the promised land just when it was necessary.
Sabga went from selling milk and furniture in the 80s to being the only man with money in this country to buy a whole group of companies, McEnany Allstons.
Can I ask you a question?
I saying this, and I am telling Trinidad and Tobago because the rest of the world have no recession. So if we wanted to do business, we could have sell them Chenet and Plum. The rest of the world are washed with money, 3.5% growth globally. When we went through the recession in the 80s, the whole world was in a recession. Now, it's Trinidad alone.
I don't agree with you.
Somebody sitting down on plenty money. I'm saying this.
Yeah.
Somebody sitting down on plenty money
You're getting closer to me.
want to buy up everything.
No, not this.
Rolf Balgobin.
Uh-huh.
What going on with Angostura and Rolf Balgobin and all that rape and sex talk is to devalue Angostura. They're going to put Angostura on the
Fire
market. Sabga want Angostura. Sabga want to twin Angostura with Carib. Sabga want National Gas Company. I have the whole of Trinidad and Tobago asking, because before I ask it, nobody asked it. I have the whole of Trinidad asking, who the hell getting the money from our pitch lake? We have the largest pitch lake in the world, one of two. That should mine Trinidad alone. Where's that money? Everybody asking Kevin Ramnarayan get caught fudging, hedging. He can't say. This minister won't answer. And saying to you, her mother is right. But her mother is not the only one saying it, and that's why I'm telling you, we're watching what is going on. This is not accidental. This is a deliberate marauding of a country by a political party, and it is not the only one, because both the PNM and the UNC belong to financiers, something we now call the contractocracy, who set the country as a fire sale for themselves, and they know what they want going in. When Kwaitong, Johnny Soong, and Ishgal Baran Singh took Pandey in Valsain and had him a check for $1 million and said, we put Pandey in power. You remember that?
I don't remember.
Because
that.
you used to feed Pandey. And I remember that. I remember when Pandey right-hand man called begging for office and you tell him, what the hell? Is I carry you, and I remember that because you used to feed his whole family.
Philip, can I ask you a question? I think the people of Trinidad and Tobago are very well familiar with the types of politicians we have in this country and the mistakes that they have made, orchestrated or not. Can you tell the people of Trinidad and Tobago what the PP is going to be doing differently that these two other parties have not done for Trinidad?
All those special purpose companies need to be shut down. All procurement needs to pass through a tenders process that is arm's length to the tendering. It needs to be robust, it needs to be transparent. The Integrity Commission needs the powers of arrest and search and seizure. It needs teeth and it needs a proper budget. You know, out of this $50 billion budget, $55 billion budget, we give the Integrity Commission $12 million. Do you know that the entire Parliament right now is afoul of the Integrity in Public Life Act? That if the Speaker of the House was doing his job, none of them could come in the Parliament until they go and get compliant?
Yes.
Where's the Director of Public Prosecutions this morning? Where are the investigations into Stuart Young? Stuart Young and Randall Mitchell right now this morning not compliant with the Integrity in Public Life Act.
Randall Mitchell, I understand, is absolutely absent almost all the time.
Where is Stuart Young's integrity document? He is not compliant. He shouldn't be allowed in the Parliament. The Director of Public Prosecutions should begin an investigation into him, and the Law Association should have something to say about that. We're playing a game. We have no systems. We have no enforcement. The Progressive Empowerment Party tells you the Constitution has a remedy for all of those things.
It's in the Constitution.
We need to undo and redo. Robert, we need to turn it off and turn it back on. We need to shut all these things down. I want to ask you a question. You this morning want to call the Director of Public Prosecutions to account. How do you do it? How do you do it?
Well, if
there is no way.
No. If the process is that he's appointed via the president on the instruction
There
of,
is no remedy.
there must be a remedy.
I am telling you the same way you cannot fire Keith Rowley this morning because there's no remedy. You cannot fire the Chief Justice today. With all that going on in the public space with the Chief Justice, he could laugh because you can't fire him.
And it is the same position the criminals have
The
adopted.
thing wrong.
That they can do what they want and get away with it because it's being done on the top.
It broken.
At the end, you
You
know,
and I have to agree.
we-
the public needs to be able to fire parliamentarians.
No problem. But
if
that-
the public
you
can
see,
fire
you know what,
parliamentarians,
They will act differently.
You know
They'll get
what?
their jobs
You know
done.
what? You know what the both of you all fail to appreciate is that all of that is pie in the sky because you know very well that in order for those transformations to take place, you need to be in charge.
and that's the job.
Okay, so I
And that's
started
why
off.
I tell you
I
that
started off
we
by
have one
saying,
shot, Robert. You know this.
I started off
You
by
know
saying,
we have one
I
shot.
started
Yes.
off by saying to you, where do we start?
You and I know Trinidad. Tell Trinidad this, General Robert. Tell them this. If we don't get away from the PNM and the UNC in the next election, that will be the last election.
We are like Mugabe.
That's the
Yeah,
last election.
yeah.
That's that will be the last. Right now, they want me dead, you know. I hear that every single day, you know. Senior people, you know. Kill Philip Alexander. Kill him. That is what I hear. Kill that man dead. They don't want to deal with an informed public, you know. They don't want you to do what you do here. They want to shut your radio station down. They want to block your transmission. These people, not evil, in joke. They come to thief and thief and thief, and they don't consider it thieving, you know. Because you know this thing, I talked to a partner, a Syrian partner. I said, how you feel, boy? You're laundering cocaine money, killing people dying for this. He said, if I don't do it, somebody else will.
Be very careful, Philip. I mean, I appreciate your outspokenness, but I want you to temper that as you move forward as a leader of a
Robert, but
political party.
you need right now, Trinidad and Tobago. Listen, every single day of my life, I do not know if it is the last day of my life.
but you don't want to shorten the fuse.
I don't want to.
You know,
but
that-
I need to
if God give you a fuse that's 12 inches, enjoy
Robert,
the 12 then.
I want 15. But I tell
You
you,
can't have it.
I am cognizant
Yeah.
of reality. And I know that this country not broken in joke. This country broken and rotten to the core. And I want every single voter in this country, from the rich people who live in Goodwood Park, who fed up the real, honest, decent business people of Valsain and St. Clair and Fairways and Goodwood Park and Bel Air, who don't want what's going on in the country to
San
continue.
Fernando too.
San Fernando, but Bel Air,
Mount
San
Irving,
Fernando,
eh?
but you go ahead, Mount Irving. They are good and decent people, rich and poor in this country. And I want to wake them up. Robert, we need, because even if I die today, I leave in loved ones behind in this country. And the only purpose for doing this is to make a better country. I told Trinidad last night,
Yeah.
I could leave today if I wanted. This is not something that I want to be doing with my life. You can't be wanting this every day. We want to vote a government in the power and they do their job properly. And if they don't do their job properly, like Iceland or Japan or the Netherlands, you fire them.
Well, at least we have policy in Japan where when they do the wrong, there's move them. But in Trinidad and Tobago, when they do the wrong, we'll promote them.
Yes. Yeah. You know, funny, but
We
true.
have the promotional, it's like the music business. The
With the
worse you
paradigm.
do in the music business is the higher you get.
Yeah, it depends on who's supporting you. Just like the music business. Who has the money backing you determines your level of success.
And that is a big problem. But it still comes back to the point, although we have agreed, and I am not going to say...
Educated and power.
and
Inform,
I'm
educated power.
not going to run away from what you had said earlier because I don't want to leave that as an undone. I did support Mr. Pandey because I thought Mr. Pandey was doing something that was in the justification.
Robert, I
of
voted
the
for Rowley
betterment.
I
in
voted,
2007.
yes.
I vote for Rowley in 2007. I tell Trinidad this is not something to blame and shame.
Yeah.
We had the choices that we had then and we made the best with what we
Correct,
had.
correct.
But we now have to look.
Past that.
You have to look at SIS and groundwater and where this man who disappeared to Panama. You have to look to
AV oil.
Namalco and AV oil and Ramnat and Mohit and all of this crazy. You have
Calco.
to look at
Yeah.
Calco and the director of highways who is now the CEO of Calco. You have to look at everything that is broken. You have to look that these people take state funds, get rich, hire big lawyers and use those lawyers to
keep
shut
them.
you up.
Yeah.
To shut you up in this country. The new thing is defamation. You can't even talk about people who doing wrong anymore in Trinidad and Tobago. It is broken to the core. We have one shot. This is it, you know.
Yeah, no, we have
this
one
is
shot.
the alarm bell. They have holes in the dam. The country going to break.
we're heading in a direction for a type of internal invasion
An implosion.
that can be very, very dangerous
The poor,
to the civic-minded
Robert, we have
society.
over 500,000 people in this country that can be considered poor. In the third wealthiest nation in the Western Hemisphere, 50% of your population poor.
That is by design.
50%. That is insanity. I want people come just into Diego Martin West and I will take them to Bagatelle, Factory Road, Rich Plain, Covine, Mason, La Puerta, Scorpion, Abbey Pujad, Big Yard. Come and see the
How many people live
level, Robert, the poverty, Cocorite, Big Yard, Harding Place. The levels of poverty we talking about is not easy, you know.
No, not easy. It's like the people who live in the Beatum.
This is sufferation
Oh, the
poverty,
people who
correct?
live in,
More of a Beatum Lavantil, sea lots there,
Sealots.
bad.
I mean, the 9 houses that burned down in Sealots.
But Robert, they have it bad. Look at when you pass by the Central Market.
You know for sure it had no flushing toilets in that area. You know for sure.
In this day and age, in a country so wealthy.
And you know it at least have 1,000 people living
If
there.
you fill in the bay between Movie Town and Peaks and build a new Westmorelands, Billings, La Riviera, La Fontaine, Guardian. Now, if you invite, not Trinidad money alone, you know, invite foreign investors, that will generate $100 billion.
A riot and beat him.
Somebody just get a WhatsApp saying it's a riot and beat them. I don't know. That alone, right there, $100 billion. Move the port of Port of Spain. Everything between Hyatt and Movie Town, Boardwalk, Gold Coast, $100 billion. Next along Circular Mall, move that army. It have no business being there. Put it between Morpha and Lavantil. But that land, develop it, $100 billion. Move. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? The country can be fixed now. There are solutions to everything. You could generate revenue, real revenue.
But
we could lift the poorest class. And Robert, if there's one thing I want to say, and it's the last thing I want to say is this. If we lift the poor out of poverty, we fix everything in
And I
this
don't
country.
dispute that.
We fix everything that is wrong in this country.
Yeah, but
you can't even have white collar crime. You can't even have cocaine and narcotics
You know,
wars.
with all
If
you're
the
saying-
poor don't have to choose that
Philip,
because the rich not climbing in the period on their own.
While I am agreeing that there is a tendency for you to be right, we have to not lose sight that in a very rich country in the Middle East, they just lock up some of the top people.
Correct.
So all that you are thinking
Correct.
and all that you are saying
Correct.
is very...
That's where we have to go.
Yeah, but it is very dependent.
Robert,
it is very dependent on who's in charge.
The Joint Select Commission on Banking in this country was supposed to hold the Bankers Association of Trinidad and Tobago to task. And they were supposed to bring this central bank government and Jawala and ask them who deregulated banking in this country to the point where banks set their own terms.
But
Banks are now a law to themselves.
when you look at, as you say, the higher purchase companies outside there, like
Robert,
courts and them, it's
Robert,
murder. You know. You
yeah.
buy something for
Yeah.
7,000, you're
Robert,
paying 8,000 in interest.
Yes.
A poor man can't get paid his salary unless he have an account in a bank. He have to have an account in the bank. But his money don't stay in the account because he poor. So when he take all his money out of the bank and he run out of money, the bank charge him a fee and put him in overdraft. When he get his next salary, the
It's short by
first
that
chunk
amount
of
of
the
money.
money of his working money
Yeah, go to
just
that.
went to the bank.
All right. Well, that's it, people. We'll be back next week, Thursday. Same time, same place. Hopefully, same subject matter. We want to thank Philip for coming and, of course, Suzanne, and enjoy your weekend.
Thanks a lot, everyone, for having us here.